So, Dr. Sharma, I
Yes,
request
sir.
you now to make your presentation.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Vijay Anand Mishra and Professor Ozuno, for giving me this opportunity, first of all. And I'm also thankful to IDRiM for uh, giving me this platform for sharing the information I have about and the kind of work we are doing in India. And it's a privileged moment. I should say that I'm representing India on this forum. So it is quite interesting for me. And let me take you through. I'll share my screen with. Just a moment. Hope you can see my screen here. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Once again, good evening, everyone. IDRiM members, along with the participants, those who are attending this cafe talk. The purpose for this cafe talk, as rightly has been said, is to enrich ourselves and to have a free flow discussion. So whatever content I have prepared, that I will share it. Okay, and along with that, wherever it is the discussion is required, please let me know. Maybe whenever the time permits, we will do that. And as Professor Vijay Anand Mishra said, that I am a professor of management, particularly I'm in the area of marketing. And along with this, I have certain interest in entrepreneurship that is quite close to my heart. Along with this, quite sometimes, because the things were changing here in India, and not only that, in global scenarios were also changing a lot. Last 2.5 years, we have seen what is happening around in the world because of pandemic things. I think that opened up a lot of opportunities for everyone to think about what is happening in terms of the disaster risk and if anything can be done about, particularly for the academicians, if they can work in this area, if they can contribute and can yes can uh, uh, identify new areas of research, right? So I'll take you through. So let me talk about for this discussion to happen, first of all, as an Indian, where we are and what is the disaster profile of India, to give a perspective of, I'm sure everyone is quite aware about where India stands from the population point of view. We know India is a great country. We know that India is a highly populated country. India, which is surrounded by waters and great landscape it is. But along with that, it also attracts a lot of problems here. So if we talk about India in terms of the disaster profile, the great landmass, we have 29 states here and 7 union territories. Okay, and in fact, there is a lot of trouble for the disaster we attract, and it is not particularly for some months. It is actually around the year from January to December. There are activities which are uh, quite difficult, right? So in fact, for past some time, we have been seeing an increment in those kind of activities during the
Yeah.
I'm sure that something should be done by the by government, by Indians in that one. So if we talk about the landmass of India, 58.6% of our landmass is prone to earthquake, which is quite large. And if you see this map of India here, and you will identify that yes, we have landmass trouble, flood related, and the river erosion problems are there. We have a very big coastline, which is around 5,700 kilometers of coastline of India is prone to cyclones and tsunamis. So that also is, that trouble is there. And then drought, which is again because our agriculture is dependent, largely it is dependent upon monsoon, the rain we expect every year. And if things are not happening regularly, if rain are not happening regularly, then it becomes a trouble for us. So drought is also a problem, which is quite a significant one. 68% of that we are, and then simultaneously other problem also. So if we see this, how big this problem is around, right? This possibly this map will be able to help you to understand, right? You see, in terms of the number of natural catastrophes or the events which happened in 2017 data I could get online. So here in Asia is finding a lot of troubles. There are a large number of events because of natural hazards are happening. So we are facing a lot of trouble. And being in Asia, India is facing a lot of trouble for that matter. But overall, when it comes to the losses goes higher towards North America and Central America for that one. But the other problem you see because of this is happening is that though in terms of monetary valuation, the losses are not that much, but the fatalities, if you see here, it is India is getting a lot of casualties for that matter. So that means we are not prepared we are not prepared that much to handle things on ground in such a large land. And then so this gives a position of India. So our disaster risk profile, basically we are ranked 90, and this is our world risk index 6.65. If I compare with that, yeah, we are somewhere in between. Out of 181 countries, our disaster risk in position rank is 90, and though it doesn't look that severe, but yes, the kind of population we have, the kind of expectations we have in India, it makes a large impact because our preparations are not that much because we have to handle the entire large country for that matter. And yes, from 47 till 2022, we have made a lot of progress, yes, but it is not that significant also, we can say. And also there are troubles coming from, not only from the natural hazards, it is also about certain things related to the employment. And then there are man-made problems are also there. Our unemployment rate, if you see, is significantly quite high, 7.11%. So that is also leading towards the unrest in the society. That is also leading towards how do we handle this young, energetic mass, which is ready to, take over the next leadership, but they are not finding whole lot of opportunities out there. So that is also creating trouble. That's where the situation of India is. So if I summarize this, that there are, for particularly for India, the disasters have been categorized in 31 categories. We have out of this water and climate related disasters, we have significantly geological related disasters, we have been facing biological related disasters, and particularly the world also saw about this last we are talking about these epidemics which have quite significant, and then chemical, industrial and nuclear related disasters are also there. And these are basically, if we see the impact of man-made disaster and the troubles that we have created has also added to situations like forest fires are happening in India, which were not very common in India, but now we are seeing those developments are happening. Urban fires are happening and mine floodings are happening. In fact, in certain regions we have seen quite significantly these floodings are happening, and oil spills, major building collapse, serial bomb blasts are happening, and festival related disasters are happening, and so on and so forth. So this is what where we are facing these troubles. So when I talk about what research institution are doing or can do about in the changing global scenario of disaster risk, so I think first of all we need to talk about what is this happening in terms of the changing global disaster risk scenario. What development, I mean, what kind of risk have been associated in recent time. So if I talk about this 2021 global risk scenario, we see that a lot of new troubles have been added in last couple of years. Particularly if I talk about climate, we have been facing, yes, this is where the likelihood and the impact is very much. But then you see here we are seeing infectious diseases, that is capturing our lot of efforts, that is affecting the entire population of the world, and the generations are being affected, and it's coming in new forms, and we are really struggling that. But not only this, to catch up here, we see what has happened: weapons of mass destructions. This kind of trouble is now we are seeing already. We have the war happening between Ukraine and Russia, and it's been a long time now, and we don't know what it will feature, what will be the future of that. Definitely, economically, the entire world is facing problem in that. Here in India, I'm facing the trouble of this war because the fuel prices have gone up, the food prices have gone up, and not only in India, I'm seeing the effect there and everywhere. And along with this the situations of the countries, different other countries are also like that. We are sitting on a kind of explosion. Whether you talk about their China's situation with America, and then we talking about what happened in Afghanistan, and so on and so forth. Talk about these things of mass destructions are happening. So along with this, if I see the new additions have happened, particularly societal risk has added in this area, particularly the mental health situation. Nobody, quite some time back, if I say that, okay, quite some decades, or people were not that seriously talking about them. But the moment that COVID and the pandemic thing has happened, people seriously are talking about the mental health, and I think this is becoming the biggest risk on human existence, because the generations, it is not only affecting an adult, it is also affecting the mind of individual young ones also. So this risk has come up in the areas of societal risk, and also about backlash against science. Now people are talking in terms of what a large section of people, okay, they are saying that the science has not actually added to the progress or the safety of people. In fact, it has created more trouble for people. And yes, we saw those kinds of news were also there in this one, right? So I believe that these are the areas in terms of the societal risk which has added towards the new development of the risk. If we talk about the economic risk, because of the situation of countries, okay, in fact, it should have been a coordinated, cooperated efforts to make a better world, rather than we have been seeing a lot of tussles of power structures in between. So, and that is leading towards debt to GDP ratios. People are countries are taking loan, and countries are not able to pay those loans. We have seen situation of what happened in Sri Lanka recently. They don't have enough money to support themselves, right? I mean, a lot of other things were responsible for the development, I believe, right? But then this is happening. And if I was also taking a view on Indian economic environment. Yes, we are seeing that country is progressing, but this situation for Indian states is also becoming very, very, very risky. The kind of culture we have created here in India, I would say that a lot of freebies culture has started in India. What this has done, basically, the state in India, to remain in power, have started this culture of freebies, attracting votes, and then if you see the economic health condition of the states in India, it is alarming. It is alarming. This is something. In fact, I was talking to my friend that we should do some research in this area. This is quite interesting. Everybody is considering. I mean, the countries situation we are talking about. What is happening within the countries about the states, because we have so many states and so many state governments are there. So from that point also we should do that. And similarly, we have some other risks, like, let's say, for example, technological risks are there. Digital inequality is again a very rising global risk, because some countries only have that access to the digital power, and this is how they can control, and what will happen to the other countries. And if you talk about the India's import, this year, if you talk about India's import, a lot of import has gone to the technological thing, right? So to remain in that progress, we need to spend a lot of money in this area. So uh, these are some of the global risks I believe are adding up to. Now, uh, in terms of these global disaster risk scenario, I'll just talk about one area, that is about the climate change risk only. Okay. Um, in terms of climate change risk, if you see, I would say yes, the climate change affects a lot of other things of a nation. Let's say, for example, whether it is agriculture production, transportation, or your infrastructure, or your biodiversity, or your human health, it affects everything. And that is that the climate change is affecting a lot, right? And then this causes economic crisis and social unrest in among the people if things are not under control. And if we see that in terms of climate risk only, if I talk about for last some years, let's say for last 20 years, though a lot of progress has happened in terms of the research one, we have done a lot of good papers. Yeah, hello.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
please. Now try to wind up. It's already 15 minutes near about. So please talk about what role you can play in IDRiM, and what are the priority areas you think are lacking, and the role of young researchers like you can play in
Sure,
the
sir.
research. Yes.
Sure, sir. Can I get five more minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes, because
Okay,
we are short of this.
right.
Already
So
15 minutes is over.
right, sir. Sure. So that's what I was saying, that a lot of work has happened, but in terms of disaster area, not much work has happened, and these are the kind of the work which is concentrated in this research area. So I would like to give some points that what should be done, in which area it should be done. Okay. See, as a country, what I'm seeing is that a lot of direction has been given in terms of the disaster risk area, particularly from the government point of view. If I talk about Prime Minister's 10-point agenda, he has given about disaster risk reduction. These 3 points are quite related. One is that we should be leveraging our technology, and that's important. Being a research institution, if we can collaborate. The second one, if we talk about, if we can collaborate, can create a network of university, through that we can leverage the technology and can do better works. And third also point he gave is that we should ensure that when a disaster has taken place, okay, there should be studies done where we can learn the lesson from the disaster, and that those we can use it for. So I think it is a very, very effective point from uh, from the research point of view, that the institution should be doing it. Particularly when I say, I mean, in higher education institution, management institution, and business administration institution, if I talk about, not much work has happened in this area, because we either talk about the business, or either we talk about the marketing concept, operations concept. But when it comes to the disaster one, particularly in the areas enterprise risk management,
Thank you.
ERM, in that area it should be done.
Thank you.